Hey everybody, Forever Encountering Love here. My name's Anthony,
I'm Serena.
and we are on location. We're out and about.
We're at a park.
We're at the park. We thought we'd kind of change up today's video. And day one,
Walking.
walking. What do we do? You guys on your phone or your watch, or is it already gone?
It's gone.
So what do you remember what it said? She's trying to look it up, people.
So we did
Here we go. Drum roll. Day one.
1.75 miles. Anthony said that's about rough.
It was like what, 1.78?
Yeah.
That's pretty
In
much 3/4.
41
right?
minutes and 41 seconds.
I think that's okay for almost 2 miles, under an hour.
Yeah,
I mean, we could have probably finished and got 2 miles
probably.
in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's pretty good for day one.
And it's 89 degrees with 43% humidity.
Would you say it's
Welcome to Florida.
sweaty?
Yeah.
It's
I'm
pretty-
trying not to touch Anthony right now because his legs are sweaty and my
Yeah,
legs are
yeah,
sweaty.
yeah.
So I keep like turning more.
It's all right, you know. We can
Sorry.
shower up when we get to the
Yeah.
house. But I don't know. I felt like it was, you know, I want to say not easier to do something in public, but you just feel better to be outside, you know.
The sunlight heals your body. I know people don't believe it, but it does.
And you try not to feel weird when people are walking around.
Oh yeah. Like,
Like-
see, these
Like
kids
the
are coming
ones,
in now.
like the ones that are coming around us right now.
It's all right.
But yeah, we're trying to do it right. Yeah.
We want to see grandkids and be around.
So this is your first time tuning in. Like I said, Anthony,
Serena.
and we were doing videos just trying to tell our story together, and then but we still want to go back and try to finish it, you know.
Oh, okay.
But right now, life throws curves at you,
All the time.
and you try to deal with that, you know. And we did other past videos. You can go back and watch, just talking about kind of what
The updates.
health scare, you know.
Yeah.
And you kind of think things differently, if that makes sense. Like what you don't want to do, or you just try to do better. You know, I don't know this. I don't want to go crazy into trying to explain everything, but I feel like this. I just want to do better. You know.
Yeah.
You know. And I know you can't do everything in one day. You know, but starting with one thing. That's all I can do, really, right?
Mhm.
Just overall, like, eat better,
Just do better in general.
just try to be a better person, just, this morning, we went to church this morning, and it kind of made me feel good to see they had like a group baptism thing, and it just seemed like seeing, I want to say, young adults, right? Does that make sense? There was more of those than anybody else there,
Yeah. Which is good.
and that makes you kind of feel good, like there's still hope,
So we're staying at the park. And it's a park like in the middle of our town that we live in. And there are people everywhere,
Young and old.
older than us, playing Pokemon Go. Like they're out here like, did you catch that one? Did you get that one?
I'll trade.
I'll trade you this one. Then we can go back over here and go to the gym. And I'm like,
Which is kind of cool, because I kind of thought, it was like, man, that's probably a good idea, You're trying to get a little exercise, and you can kind of play a little bit,
I guess.
But I'm not really a Pokemon.
No.
I tried to play with, like, me and the kids played, like when I was on the, like, over the road when I was driving.
Oh my gosh, they used to yell at him like, stop here.
Yeah, they wanted to stop everywhere. But yeah, so we were saying that, in service today there was a pretty group. I would say big group, but there's probably like what 15, 20 people. I'm just guessing. That they all got baptized. All different age groups, and just to see the younger ones doing that, which it's a lot. It means a lot. To do something like that. So Serena sent me this video this week, and pretty interesting, and it makes a lot of sense. Like. When you watch it, you're like, damn, it feels like me sometimes, just, you want to explain?
So this, she's actually some kind of speaker, teacher thing. Anyway, she was talking and she said, marriage, anybody that says that marriage is 50-50 is full of crap, because it's not. It's, you come home every day and you say, I'm a solid 80, or you come home and you say, I'm a solid 20. And Anthony says, well, I'm a solid 80. Don't worry, I got you. I got it. And so you work it out. And then she said that her and her husband, she had to take care of her mom. And she came home one night and she looked at him and she goes, I just don't got it. I'm a solid 10. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I don't got it either. I'm a solid 20. And they sat there and worked out how they could take care of each other, so that they could come up with the 100. So, that's what marriage should be. It shouldn't just be one person carrying the other person,
Because, well, Serena could say, like, this morning I woke up and got going. It's like I was done. Like, the day just started and I was done. I don't want to do this today. I even told her, I was like, I just want to stay home. And I guess that's a lot of problems I have. So I want to say a lot of problems. That's one problem I have at time to time. It's just, it's just, just want to stay home. And some days where it's like, you work and do whatever you got to do. By the end of the day, it's like, I just want to go home and go to bed just to be done.
Just to be done.
In the flipping day, and, and she knew, like, right from the get. We got up and we were just hanging out in the bedroom, just sitting, and she said, you okay? Everything all right? And I'm just like, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
but just sitting and talking for a little bit, and she even said, like, do you want to, stay home from church? And like, that's not going to solve nothing.
Yeah.
So we got up and got going, and we went to church, and I felt like when we were on the way, I felt a little bit better, knowing that we were going, and then when we got out of church, and I felt like even right now I feel a lot better, than what I did this morning, and maybe that's just something that you need to be recharged. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the church, but it's just doing something. I mean, it probably had a lot.
Was good.
It was a good service. This is the second time we've been to this church, and it's good so far. And it's some days are harder than others. I can't explain why, or it could be a number of things. It just today just felt like one of those days where I don't want to deal with it.
I'm just done. Yeah. Someone on a motorcycle.
It's alright.
Those days are. I mean, I get those days too. Some days I feel like I can't have those days. Like, everybody else is gonna have that day, so I can't do it. You're just gonna have to deal, so.
Well, that's what I said. I know before, like, I just, I'm not saying it's never happened, but it's like I gotta get up and go to work, just because you don't go to work, the bills ain't gonna stop,
Yeah.
But there has been days where I just wake up and be like, no, not today.
Not today.
Not today. We're just gonna hang out and we'll do it all over tomorrow.
Well, that's like, Friday, so everybody knows that I do Instacart. So Friday, I got up, I went to a yard sale that we had been talking about. I went to this yard sale.
Oh, that's another crazy story. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
So I went to this yard sale and I hung out there. No, it's just a bunch of kids being stupid on their motorcycles.
Oh my god.
So I went to this yard sale that we'd been talking about, and it had some video games, and I hung out there for a little while and talked to them, and then I went like to the Publix and sat there for a little bit, and our daughter called me, and she's like, hey, I need your help, blah blah blah, do you mind? And I was like, no, that's fine. So I went back to the house, and I was waiting on her. Well, you called and you're like, well, I guess you're just not working today. And it, for a second, yeah, you did.
Okay. Cool.
You were like, well, I guess you're just not gonna do today, or you're not working today, or Friday's a bust. You said something in that.
Which it happens like that sometimes.
Right, but it was just kind of the way you said it, like
really?
it just. And so for a minute, like I had to catch my breath, like, and not spout right back at him, you know. And I just went, yeah, I think I'm not gonna work today because today is just, it's, you know, Tegan needs my help,
Yeah.
and you know, and then by the time I'm done doing that, you'll probably be getting off. And I said, yeah, so I probably won't work today.
Because we only have one vehicle, so she's gonna come pick me up from work.
So, but it for a second, it was like in my head, like, you know how you have that good voice and that bad voice. In my head, it was, well, how dare he say that? Like, he can go and look for video games, and he didn't have a problem when I went to the yard sale because, but it was like, nope, stop. Maybe he's just having a bad day, or maybe he's having a bad whatever, you know. And so I just went, yeah, I'm just gonna help Tegan. And then you're like, okay, well, I gotta go. I was like, all right.
Well, I definitely didn't mean it to come off like that. I didn't even realize. I know what I said, but I didn't mean for it to go like that. You know, I don't know. I guess it's different. That's how sometimes conversations on the phone are. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But even sometimes I'll say something, and you'll be like, well, why do you gotta say it like that? And I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah, you know, it does. It just depends what direction it's going. You know.
Yeah.
But I know, I get it. You got to help her, and you know, things happen. You know, I mean, there's been times with me where I told you, I'm like, you know, or when we had a second vehicle, just feel like, hey, come get me. I'm not doing this today at work. I'm just, you know,
I'm done.
the old, I'm sick. You know, and I feel bad about it, but
Sometimes
sorry,
though,
that's just the
I
way it's got to be sometimes.
Sometimes I want to go to you, like, I want to be like, your job, like you're always dad. Don't get me wrong, you always are. But when you go to work, like, everybody leaves you alone. Like, you go to work.
Very true.
When I go to work, it's still, hey mom, I need your help on this, or hey mom, I need your help on that, or hey, I need you to take me to work, or hey, I need you to do this, because that's also part of my job.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, you know, go to do Instacart and then come home and make dinner or whatever. Like, it's also take care of the girls and do this.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I want to go to you and you would be like, well, you're just not working today? No, I'm working. I'm working.
Just not getting paid, you know.
You know.
Well, you're getting paid, just not with money.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So
Well, I don't mean it to come off like that. I apologize if it did. I don't ever.
sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, I guess it's if I'm in my feelings too.
Yeah, I get that. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has those times. I sure don't. Yeah, right.
You're right. You were getting in your feelings last night.
About
So we went out to eat last night with his best friend and his wife.
which we had a good time.
We did, but it was really hard because we're not big drinkers and they are.
Well, they weren't drinking big. They had some beers.
Right,
you
but
know?
I mean, like, if we
It didn't
suggest to
bother
go
me.
out to eat somewhere, no, that's not what I mean. If we suggest to go out to eat somewhere, it's to a restaurant.
Oh yeah. See, you know that. You know, I got it. Yeah.
If
So-
we're suggesting.
So this place was like an outdoor bar, and you know I mean the food was good,
The food was excellent.
and they had like a live band, which was cool.
I don't know. I couldn't see it. They were behind me.
Yeah, but you know,
But they were good.
but
Yeah.
it was good. But you know, it was kind of one of those. You know,
Hey,
yeah,
how you
yeah.
doing?
It's like we haven't hung out, and they're it's he's my brother, you know, my best friend. We grew up together, and we haven't hung out in
A while.
months, and you know, catch up on stuff, and then we got to shout against each other, you know, at the table, and that was kind of a. And I think I seen it on his face when he was,
was
kind of
frustrated,
like, you know, it's
too.
like, damn it. And usually he'll want to hang out and do stuff, but he was the first one, like, yeah, I'm ready to
Ready to go.
And we got to talk some more in the car and everything, which was,
Yeah.
you know, but they, you know,
But because Anthony grew up with him, Tim asked how Anthony's sister is.
mhm.
Well, there's bad blood between Anthony's sister and me. And so I was like, I don't know, you know. Well, I'd made the comment that Devin, who is, I don't even know how you would describe Devin now.
I don't know,
Anyway.
step something,
Step nephew?
There you go, that sounds good.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Because he'll still always be that. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
But he had made the comment, and I told Tim, he had made the comment that I'm public enemy number one to Anthony's sister. And Tim goes, oh yeah, I remember, blah, blah, blah. And Anthony, I could see it in his face. He like immediately got mad, or like got in his feelings. He's like, who said that?
Yeah, a little bit.
And I was like, Devin.
Then I was trying to tell myself, just let it go.
And he was like, said that about what? And then I had to explain it, but I had to explain it yelling at him.
Over the band playing, which is like,
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, that's why I dropped it. I'm like, this is the wrong time to have this discussion. And I was actually going to talk to you about it last night, but then I just I
So
forgot.
tired.
I forgot, you know, just, you know, but, you know, it was, you know, all in all, it was, I had a good time.
I had a good time.
You know, it was good for us to go out. You know, we don't get to go out often, and for us, like we told ourselves Friday night, when I get off work, I'm gonna come home, we're gonna change, we're gonna go out.
Except
Didn't
for
happen.
you worked.
I was pushing 60 hours at work, and you know, so by the time I got out of work, you know, I was done.
Well, and by the time you got done with work, then you had to drive almost 2 hours back,
You know.
and got detoured, and it
Yeah,
was
so it was like between like physically drained, mentally drained. I was
done.
at that point. I was probably like 5% good. I was just doing.
So he said, I know we're supposed to go out.
and all I wanted, I told you.
All I wanted was wings, and I
all-
said,
all-
I got you. I got you.
You did. She suggested I'll just go with the beefs and I'll grab some, and I'm like, you know what? No. And by that time, I was done with it. I was like, you know what? And
He's like, I'm just going to go home and go to bed. I said, okay, that's
take a little
fine.
nap. So at like 6 o'clock, I decide I'm going to take a nap. you
Yeah.
know?
So I went, that's fine.
Bad
Go
idea.
ahead and me and my daughter, we went up to Walmart and Publix, and we got a bunch of wings, and we got some fries, and
We call finger food dinner.
Yeah.
Finger food dinner.
but it was everything that he wanted. And then I woke him up and I said, hey, dinner's done. And he's like, okay, I'll go get it. I said, no. I got you. You sit here. And I brought him his food. But then, like, he wanted to, like, I felt bad. Because then I think he wanted to talk because he's awake now.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude,
You were
I'm
like,
done. I'm done.
Yeah. And I think I did. Even last night when we got home, I was tired, you know, and I started. I don't even know what I was doing, but all of a
Editing.
sudden, you know, I was messing with another video I was messing with, and then all of a sudden I feel like I got like a
boost.
boost of energy, and I was ready to go for another couple hours. And I look over her, she's like a bobblehead over there, and I'm like, just go to sleep, honey. You know, just don't fight this. You know,
I go until I just can't, and then that's it. She's done.
Yeah. But that was the whole. If you've made it this far, this was the whole reason behind the video. It was just, how was your week?
It was good. I mean, it's hard. The reason I was helping Tegan is she's slowly moving her stuff into her boyfriend's house. And it's hard. That's hard.
How old is she? 22? 21?
She'll be 21 in August.
Yeah. So it's just...
It's hard, you know?
She's like our third child,
But she was the baby for like
was a
5
baby.
years.
She wasn't like, the baby, but she was the...
She was the baby.
Yeah,
And she was so small. And she still is.
She is.
She gets mad though when you talk about that stuff.
Yeah. So
But she was
gets all in her feelings.
She does. She was 6 pounds when she was born.
I still remember she was
so small.
That was the one I remember, because like me and her talk about all the time. It's like, when Serena was in her moment, she's about she's pushing and doing her thing, about to give birth,
delivered her.
and the doctor just pulls me up. Well, not doctor, but the
Midwife.
midwife. She just pulls me over, and I delivered Tegan.
Yeah.
That was like, man, I still kind of like. Still kind of tears you up a little bit, because not everybody can say they did that,
Yeah.
and I did everything, and she's I don't want to get like into detail, but just like when she crowned and her head came out, and I know you're like viciously going through pain, and the lady, the midwife said, just kind of reach your finger in and it's kind of under her armpit, and just don't pull, just kind of just help it and help her along, and she said we'll be ready, because like when the shoulders come out, she just goes, and she did, and I was just like, oh my gosh, hey, look what I did, everybody. Meanwhile Serena was basically doing all the work, and I try to take
Credit.
try to steal her thunder, but she's the baby. She may not be the baby by age, but baby by, she's the smallest, and she just.
She's also that has the loudest mouth.
I don't know. I'd have to disagree with that one.
Oh no, but she has my temper.
But I mean, like when our oldest, when she comes in the room, she'll let you know she's there.
But that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she has my temper. She will, at the drop of a hat, and I tell her all the time. I'm like, Tegan, your mouth's writing checks that your butt can't cover. She's like, that's why I got you, Mom. I mean, but she's moving in with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is a good kid, and I see them being together for a long time, so, but it's just hard.
Yeah.
So.
There's like 2 kids playing behind us over here.
So, how was your week?
Whew. It was a long week, work-wise. And still try to be, dad, husband. I feel like there's not enough left,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think all in all, it was a good week, I think, no major catastrophes, Besides, we had to buy a tire for the car. That kind of sucked, but, I think all in all, it was good,
No.
I just wish that there was more time, that's all,
I think that's the one thing everybody wishes for.
But I think it was kind of good for, church on Sunday, and it was good. I seen, our youngest, she went to,
Youth ministry.
not like a youth, what do they call it, young adults?
Young
adults group at the church, which is good, because for her, that's huge.
Yeah.
To do something by herself.
And she wanted to do it.
And yeah, she wanted to do it, but you had to like talk her into it.
I didn't have to talk her into
No,
anything.
I meant like she wanted to take her cousin.
Yeah.
Then which would have been okay if we can go get her. But then, like, you kind of talked to her. It's like, why don't you just go by yourself? And then, I was so afraid that she was going to be like, no, I'll, and she did it, which was awesome. And to make it even,
Better.
like, the payoff was worth it in the end. It was like this morning when we were leaving church, I guess one of the girls that was there sing Trinity and like hey, and they hugged, and I was like, oh, that's all you want to see, just like that's awesome, and that's good for her. I mean, it was more for her. I don't know if it was who it was good for, me or her,
I think it was both of you.
To see it, you're like, you were like, just kept on walking. I was like, honey, look, and like you look and you're like, oh, you thought that was cool, So, all in all, I think it was a good week, and it was. How's that one song go?
Which one?
They did it. They sang last week at church, like something. I forget how it goes.
The Brandon Lake song?
I think so. You can't play it.
I
You can't play it. You gotta sing it.
I want to dance like David.
No. I'm sorry. That was a good one too. But the one like,
one I
don't
like.
worry, Sunday will be here soon or something. Or
Oh yeah, but I don't know that. I know who it is. It's We Are Messengers, but I don't know the name of the song. Friday was good, but don't worry because Sunday's on the way.
Sunday's on the way. That's it. Yeah. So that's kind of, and it was weird, like laying there Friday after work. I just, just make it to Sunday, and I feel like I can get through. Then hopefully something, through Sunday can help me get through the week.
But then his message today was,
Don't hate your family.
no, it wasn't.
He said that.
No, but that's not what the message is about,
No, I know.
But it was, if you put him first,
Yes.
then everything else.
Falls in line.
Yep. So, I think that's it. Then, even we've talked about that. Like, we get in like our way, or we just need to get out of the way and let him take care of everything.
Right.
It's getting busy over here.
Yes. Are you good?
Yeah,
We said a lot.
we said a lot.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and commenting, and continue please to comment and subscribe. And until we're trying every week.
We're trying.
We're trying, people. But yeah, you good?
We're good.
Love you.
Love you too.
And we will see you guys next week. Hopefully.
Bye.
Thanks
See you
for watching.
Sunday.
Bye bye. Don't worry, Sunday's on the way.